Good day, students. Welcome to your virtual basic science class brought to you by digital science teacher, Mr. Kehinde Adesina. In this lesson, we will be exploring the system of support for animals. This system of support is called the skeletal and the muscular system. First, let's look at the lesson outline of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, learners should be able to define skeleton, identify the types of skeleton, identify the main bones in the human skeleton, list and identify the parts of human skeleton, that is, the parts of axial and appendicular skeleton. So, let's come along as we explore this system of support. The body of animal is supported by various structures. Some of these important structures include the skeletal and the muscular system, and we are going to look at this system in details in this lesson. The skeletal system of animals consists of bones, cartilage, or corticals. Now, what is the skeleton? The skeleton is a framework or structure that provides shape, support, rigidity, movement, and protection for the body. Without skeleton, animals may not be able to move or carry out other life processes. The skeleton of animals are made up of various skeletal materials. These include bone, which is found in vertebrates like fish, amphibians, reptiles, apes, and mammals. We also have the cartilage. Cartilage are found associated with bone in the skeleton of vertebrates, and they are also the main skeletal material of cartilaginous fishes. The corticals or chitin, they are found in arthropods like crabs, crayfish, insects, spiders, millipede, and centipedes. Lastly, we have the synovial fluid, which is the main skeletal material that provides support in worms and other worm-like organisms. Do you know that all animals have a skeleton? However, when we talk about skeleton, you may liken skeleton to the bones in the body of animals. So this will lead us to the aspect that we call the types of skeleton. There are three types of skeleton found in living organisms or in animals. We have exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is the type of skeleton which is found outside or at the external part of the body of some animals. Most vertebrates possess this type of skeleton, which is composed of corticals or chitin. Exoskeleton is found mainly in invertebrates like crabs, insects, millipede, and centipedes. In this type of organism that possess exoskeleton, it is very difficult for them to grow internally. Therefore, this type of organisms grow by a process called molting or ecdysis. In this process, the organism shed off its old skeleton, grow internally, and later cover its body with a new skeleton. The second type of skeleton is the endoskeleton. Endoskeleton is the type of skeleton which is found inside the body of animals. Exoskeleton exists in bony or cartilaginous fishes, toad, lizard, birds, and mammals. The exoskeleton in vertebrates is made up of cartilage and bones, and in mammals it includes the skull, vertebral column or the backbone, the ribs, and the bones of the forelimbs and the hind limbs. Let's look at the human skeleton in details. The skeletal system of humans and other mammals are grouped into two major parts. These are the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton is made up of the skull, the vertebral column or backbone, the ribs, the sternum, and the breastbone. The appendicular skeleton is made up of the limbs, that is, the bones of the hands and legs, and the girdles, that is the pectoral and the pelvic girdles. Let's look at the bones of the axial skeleton, starting with the skull. The skull is the skeleton of the head. It protects the brain and delicate organs such as the eyes, the inner part of the ear, the nose cavity, and the jaws. It also bears the teeth which aid in grinding of food. The vertebral column, also called the backbone or the spinal column. This is the central supporting system of the skeleton. The vertebral column forms the backbone of vertebrates and protects the spinal cord. The bones of the chest include sternum or breastbone, which shield the heart and the lungs. It also protects the stomach while serving as attachment for tendons. The ribs form a protective cage around the thoracic cavity and moves up and down to aid respiration or breathing. Let's look at the bone of the limbs, the forelimbs, that is the bone of the arm. The bone of the arm consists of a long bone which attached to the shoulder, and it is called humerus. It is followed by two pieces of bone called radius and ulna. These pieces of bone serve as support for the upper arm and also for attachment of muscles which are responsible for movement in manipulation of objects. The hand region consists of the bone of the wrist called carpus and metacarpus. This is followed by the bones of the fingers called phalanges. They help in gripping of objects, writing, and playing of instruments. The bone of the upper leg is consisting of the longest bone of the body called the femur bone, which fits into the ball and socket joint of the hip region. This is followed by two pieces of bone called tibia and fibula, which meet with the femur bone at the knee joint with the aid of a structure called patella. The femur bone with the tibia and fibula bears the weight of the body. Next is the bone of the ankle, which is known as tarsus and metatarsus. Lastly is the bone of the foot called the phalanges. The tarsus and the metatarsus articulate with the phalanges to allow for flexible movement of the foot. Let's look at the pectoral or the shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle consists of a flat bone called scapula or shoulder blade. It also consists of clavicle or what we call the collarbone. They attach to the long bone of the hand and provide support during movement. Lastly, the pelvic or the waist girdle. The pelvic girdle consists of three flat bones that are fused together. They are called the ischium, the ilium, and the pubis. The two halves of the pelvic girdle is joined with a fissure called pubic symphysis. The pelvic girdle bears the upper weight of the body and transfers this to the lower part of the body. It also helps to protect the reproductive organs of the body and serve as attachment for the long bone of the leg. Let's look at the vivid view of these different types of bone. Up here is the pectoral girdle with the attachment of the long bone of the hand called humerus, the flat bone, shoulder blade. Here is the pelvic or the waist girdle showing the ischium, ilium, and the pubic symphysis. And up here is the long bone of the hand, the bone of the legs, showing the femur bone, the humerus, radius and ulna, fibia and tibula, tarsus and metatarsus, and the phalanges. And here is the long bone of the hand called humerus and the long bone of the leg called the femur bone. And here we have the bones of the fingers and the bones of the foot, showing the phalanges, the tarsus, the metatarsus, and the carpus and the metacarpus. Up here is the position of the vertebral column or the backbone, consisting of small bones joined together and are called vertebra. Lastly, let's look at the general function of skeleton in man. The function of skeleton in man include 1. Protection. The rigid framework of the skeleton gives protection to delicate organs of the body. For example, the skull protects the body by covering delicate tissues in the brain and also the delicate parts in the eyes, nose, and the hair. Number 2, support. The framework of the skeleton also gives support to the body. For example, the vertebral column, the pelvic girdle, and the pectoral girdle forms a framework which provides support to the rest parts of the body. Number 3, movement. The whole skeleton is made up of several pieces of bone which are jointed and bring about movement. Without the skeleton, animals will not be able to move from one place to another. Number 4, respiration. The skeleton aids respiration because the ribs and the thoracic bone help in breathing by protecting the delicate part of the respiratory system, that is the diaphragm. Number 5, another function of the skeleton is manufacture of blood cells. The bone marrows help to manufacture blood cells, the white blood cell and the red blood cell. Number 6, muscle attachment. Skeleton also serve as point of attachment for different muscles in the body that aid in movement. Muscles are attached to bone by means of tendons. Number 7 is shape. The skeleton also provide a definite shape to the body and different parts of the body. Lastly, storage of minerals. The skeleton also help to store important minerals such as calcium and phosphorus. Hence, such bone are sources of food minerals for some animals. An example is bone meal, which is used in feeding of livestock. With all what we have covered in this lesson, I hope you would be able to provide answers to all the assignment questions that have been given to you. So go ahead and provide answers to those questions that you have been given as an assignment. And when we meet in the class, we will discuss further on the topic skeletal and muscular system. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell or notification button so that you will get updates once I upload a new video. Till we meet in class again, keep reading and keep studying because readers are leaders. Thank you. Bye.